Welcome back to RLCS Overtime, where we just got done recapping league play for North America. League play here in RLCS is completely done. We've had 2 teams go home per region, and we've had 2 teams qualify for the LAN. In North America, it's NRG and Atelier, who have already qualified in the playoffs to go to LAN. The team captain of Atelier is on the line here. Turtle, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, dude. Thanks for taking your time to talk to us today. And for anyone that doesn't know who you are, just give us a kind of quick introduction. Who are you? How'd you get into Rocket League? Tell me your story, man.
Well, my name's Turtle, obviously. I got into Rocket League basically as soon as the game came out, maybe like 2 weeks after. And I just saw it being streamed on Twitch, and I was like, oh, this looks fun. So I started playing it, and the next thing I knew, I was literally addicted to it. I couldn't stop playing it. I kept, grinding the game. I don't know. There was something like addicting about Rocket League that just wanted me to keep grinding and to keep going. And after a decent amount of time, I stuck with the game, and I guess here we are now.
Yeah, I feel like Rocket League, the fact that the games are only like 5 minutes long, it gets you into that kind of like, I'll just play one more. I'll just play one more. Exactly. 3 hours later, you're like, I meant to go to bed 2.5 hours ago, and here I am still.
That's happened to me so many times.
Right?
I can't even.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game for that exact reason. But you are here now in Season 3 as the team captain of Atelier. You've been on under three different names every season. Tell me the story of how Atelier came together and how you guys decided to play here.
Well, everybody knows that NA took kind of like its own time to get settled and all these teams to get situated, and that was exactly the situation for us. Atelier was kind of like a last-second team. I knew that I wanted a team with Matt and Sizz right off the bat, though. I just kind of took my time, seeing all my options and seeing what I could, potentially get as teammates. But I knew Matt and Sizz for a long time. I've been friends with them basically throughout all 3 seasons, and I knew that Matt was a phenomenal player. I knew that he was really underrated, and he didn't get the attention he deserved. And I knew that Sizz was a fantastic duo with Matt, and I knew that because Sizz took a break in Season 2, and I knew that if he, got back into this a regular amount of hours and he started grinding again, that we could all come together to make this, a really dope team that could just mesh and, suit well together. So I was really good friends with them, and I decided, what, maybe it's time that I, take a chance on these guys, and we go for that. And ever since then, they've basically been carrying me the entire way to the top. So I'm really happy with what we decided. Yeah,
Matt and Sizz definitely known as a doubles duo, and I got to meet Sizz in Amsterdam because he was a sub for one of the teams who was there, and so it's really cool to see him up and on the starting on a roster here for Atelier. And there was a lot of doubts about you guys early on. People being like, oh, we don't know if they're going to be able to match up with these other teams. A big part of that was because you came together so late into the off season. But here you are. Last week you came in as a favorite for top 4, and walk me through like what it was like for you guys watching that final match and knowing you qualified for LAN.
I can't even. I could not watch the games. I was sitting in TeamSpeak with my teammates, and I was literally shaking the entire time I was watching the games. I could not handle the stress because I had to feel like if I was watching the games, knowing me, just because I'm watching the games, it would not go my way. So I literally had to like step away from the computer, and I went and I just like passed out on the couch and was just laying there thinking about like the options and what could actually happen. And I literally could not stop shaking because everything so far up to that last match, especially with Genesis and G2, like everything had gone our way to make top 2. But it just came down to that last match, and we needed them to win. We needed Genesis to win, and it was just we were so close, and I just didn't even want to watch it. I just couldn't. It was so stressful.
Yeah. So when did you actually find out that you had actually made it? Did a teammate call you or what?
No. Okay. So this is what happened. So this is a really weird story, but I was like shaking and I couldn't control myself, and I live in like an apartment complex where there's like a hot tub and a pool. So I'm like, you know what? It's been a long day. Let me just go relax in the hot tub real quick. So I go in there and I jump in and I just start relaxing. And there's like, there's jets in the hot tubs that, keep the bubbles flowing and everything like that. And it's on a timer. And as soon as I get in, I'm chilling there for like 10 minutes. And for whatever reason, the bubbles just like stop. And the whole hot tub goes like still. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should check my phone to see what happened. And I get out and I look at my phone. And as soon as I look at my phone, I refresh my Twitter feed. And boom, it's like so many people saying, wow, you did it, you made LAN. And all these people congratulating me. And it was like, it was so surreal. I couldn't.
That's amazing. So it's like the hot tub's like, yo, bro, you got to check your phone. We got some good news for you.
I got you, yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. So you've been to, like we said earlier, you've been to every LAN so far for RLCS. You've been to 3 LANs, 3 different teams. This is not your first rodeo by far. Like, tell me about the mentality for you, especially as a veteran player. What is the difference of preparing for this 3rd LAN versus like your first LAN?
Well, for the first LAN, I think it was more of like we were all just trying to experience it. We hadn't even met each other yet. I hadn't seen anybody online in person at all yet. So I think I was really excited for that, and I was really excited just to be able to get to compete in front of an audience. And it was just like so. It was such a new experience that it was so hard to like focus on anything else besides just taking it all in. So that was kind of like the first LAN. And for the second LAN, I also had like kind of like the same expectations. I mean, it is only the second LAN too, so you're still kind of fresh to it. And I don't know, it's all just such like a new. Every time you go to LAN, maybe it's just because I've been to twice, but every time it's like still such a crazy experience. Like seeing all your teammates, seeing everybody. It's like it's so overwhelming almost. But I feel like now that I've been to two, I have two under my belt. Going into the third LAN, I feel like I'm a little bit more focused. It's still going to be quite difficult to kind of get your head right, but this time I won't have to deal with like the time zone changes, which is a really big pain in Amsterdam because I was so sleepy. I remember Moses drank like 3 Red Bulls and still passed out. It was insane. So we won't have to deal with that, and we'll also kind of be a little bit more comfortable because we'll be in North America. So I'm actually really really excited for this up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Definitely going to be able to approach this one in a more just focused role as it is your third time. It's not this new like experience. And do you feel like Matt and Sis are kind of like looking to you for guidance and for kind of an anchor here because this is the first time they're going to be on the stage?
I feel like I can kind of have that presence on stage, but I haven't really performed myself in the past 2 LANs, so it's kind of like that same exact feeling for me too because I really want to prove myself this LAN. The past 2 LANs I performed okay, decent at best. So I'm really hoping that this LAN I can step it up, and maybe since I have kind of have more experience, I can calm down Sis and Matt. That's kind of the goal. But I do feel like Sis is probably going to enjoy it the most because Sis is a character. That's all I can say about him. But I feel like he's definitely going to enjoy it. And then Matt, I feel like he can really, if he goes into like Zen mode, I feel like he can completely destroy it LAN too. But yeah, hopefully I can calm them down.
Awesome. Cool to hear about the team chemistry there. So looking at the LAN and the other teams that are going to be going right now, we know 4 of the teams who are going to be going. There's still 4 more spots to be filled out, and then there's the 2 from OCE. Just over all of RLCS, like what are the teams that have got the most respect from you guys and that you're looking the least forward to having to compete against?
Honestly, like any team that's made LAN consistently, I think is a threat, mainly because they have that experience on their belt already. Like I'm the only one on my team with a couple LANs under my experience, so we're not as much of like a scary threat in my opinion. So we don't have that much pressure, which can be honestly a benefit. But teams like Northern Gaming, I feel like are very, I respect them a lot, mainly because they've had the dedication to keep coming back LAN after LAN. And I know Remco, I know Maestro, I know Devo. They're all incredibly determined. Even if they come in like second or third at LAN, that's literally not nearly good enough compared to the first for them. So I know that they're very determined and they're just very, they're gonna make sure that they can do all they can to get first place. So they're definitely gonna be a big threat. And I do think that Flipside are probably going to make LAN for sure, and they're going to be a big threat as well. It's just mainly these experienced teams that have come back and back, I feel like are going to be the biggest threat to all of us, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. We talk a lot here about how like consistency is the most important thing, and these are the teams that have consistently shown up across all of RLCS. So yeah, definitely a big threat there. Taking just a step back here, we've been talking about LAN a lot. We have one more weekend of online play with the regional championships. NRG is the back-to-back North American champions. They're already qualified for the semifinals, and they are set to do it for a 3rd time. Do you think they're going to do it, or is this the season that someone else dethrones them here in NA?
I'm kind of thinking, if we can beat G2, I think if we can play with confidence against NRG, I know for a fact that it's going to be a great game. Definitely. Hats off to NRG for just proving back and time again that they can, come into top 2 each season. That is actually insane, especially since it's like Jacob and Fireburner. They've been together, and they keep going back and back and back all the way to top 2, which is, insane. But I do think that we definitely have a chance to beat pretty much any team in North America. If we can just play with confidence and we can be speedy, I think that a lot is possible. But it's definitely going to be a close match, especially if we can beat G2. Yeah,
for sure. Well, good luck there in the regional championships. We'll be rooting for you. We're running out of time here. I got one final question for you. For anybody this is their first LAN experience, for the players that they have not been there, as a veteran, what are some tips you have for them or things that you wish you had known at your first LAN?
Honestly, I think at the first LAN, I didn't even have like my settings wrote down or my camera settings or like anything like that. I literally came in, I sat on the computer and like, wait. And I like had to go to my stream and everything and do all these commands. So definitely just like kind of come prepared, knowing what's going to make you the most comfortable at a LAN. Obviously, things like camera setting and stuff like that. But just overall, like figuring out how you're gonna, perceive LAN and the mindset you're gonna have coming into LAN is very, very important. And I'm still pretty bad at that. I'm still trying to figure out how I can be comfortable in front of like a live audience and how I can kind of just play my best and kind of focus out all of that stuff to where it's just me, my teammates, and then the computer. That's all I want to do. So if you're like going to LAN and you don't know how you're gonna play, just try and think of what makes you most comfortable.
Awesome. Fantastic advice there, bud. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, and good luck in the playoffs, and good luck at LAN, dude.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. That is Turtle from Atelier. Great to talk to him. Always great to talk to the players here, and that'll do it here for the interview. But when we come back, we're going to be recapping Europe and what happened in their final week of league play. It was just as crazy as North America. It'll be fun. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.